Hey everyone, it's Dan with Lucky Credit. I'm with our client Nicole. We've been working with Nicole for a little bit and we just wanted to film this quick video, give you an update on our progress and just review the experience. So Nicole, great to have you. Just to kick things off, if you want to tell us a little bit about your business and what you do and what kind of goals you've had before you started working with us.
Oh, my name is Nicole, and I'm with Precious Little Ones Learning Center. I own a child care center. I reached out to Dan because I needed some funding for a project that I had coming up, and I had contacted other credit companies, and for some reason that fell through. And then when I reached out to Dan and spoke with him, I really felt comfortable, and he pretty much guaranteed me that he was going to be able to get the job done for me, and he truly did. I was able to get over 150,000 in funding for my project, and the process was really easy, and it was much easier than I expected because I really didn't think it was going to happen, but I was very confident. He made me feel confident that I had nothing to worry about, and he really made it happen for me.
Excellent, awesome. And what were the initial type of challenges that you had that caused you to work with us in the first place? I know you spoke to a couple companies. What was the main reason that led you to us?
I reached out based on I wanted to make sure I was going to be able to get approved due to the fact that you applying for credit line increases and you're reaching out to certain banks, they're denying you based on either you have too many inquiries or you just don't have the I want to say the verbiage together.
Yeah,
So
you gotta have the right profile. You gotta set it up right.
correct. And so Dan made sure when I spoke with him, he made sure that based on what I told him I was trying to do and looked into my profile, he was able to say, hey, you should be fine.
Awesome. No, that's part of our process in the beginning. Before we make a crazy promise or anything, we want to make sure that we can deliver, right? Because I know your project, you had a couple tight deadlines on it, and you really wanted to make sure. What was one of the main reasons you chose to work with us versus someone else? I know you chatted with a couple people, but what was the main thing that you felt that we did that others couldn't?
I can recall when I spoke to Dan, I said, do you guys work with older people? Because for some reason, the young people seem like they don't want to work with the mature adults. I already had great credit. And it seemed like the company that I reached out to and I thought was going to really help me, I felt when they looked into my profile and really seen that I had excellent credit, they pushed me to the back burner. And I did not understand that. And I brought that to Dan's attention. And so I think what stood up with Dan is that because they're on Instagram, it says something about your credit score can be 700 or better or whatever. And that stood out to me. I said, oh, that's who I guess you guys want to work with. So I said, let me give it a try. And that's what I did.
Excellent. And a lot of people hesitate because we charge an upfront fee, right? That's one of the things a lot of people, they're shopping around. Some charge an upfront fee, some don't. What would you say convinced you is worth the upfront investment to work with us?
When it comes to
Someone's hesitant. Go ahead.
when I spoke with the team prior to speaking to Dan, I gave my concerns. And then when I spoke to Dan, he pretty much told me like I can do this. So I felt it was an investment for me. It was worth a try because I had needed the funding for my project. So I just felt like based on the things that he was saying to me, I felt comfortable. And I just went on with it, and I have been super pleased. Dan answered every call, he answered every question. He's very patient, and I really enjoy working with Dan.
You're too kind. So how much 0% of this funding were we able to actually secure?
Over 150,000.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
anyone he connected me with, they were super nice. They were helpful. They was patient. I really am pleased with Dan and their company because his connections were great.
They're real connections, right?
Yeah, real connections.
Absolutely. It's an extension of us, right? We don't want to send someone over and then they're working with a banker that's rude or not helpful and all that stuff. So we vet very closely, both the bankers, our clients, and when everything works out, it's just a very smooth process. So were you skeptical about some of the promises in the beginning? I know, like, hey, guaranteed. I said, yeah, absolutely, I can get you over 100,000 at 0%. Were you skeptical? How did the reality match up?
Of course, you're always skeptical because I don't know you, you don't know me. So some things and I was saying like, I'm giving all my information that was concerning to me, but it was just like, hey, you just have to do it. It was worth an investment. I mean, it was an investment that was well worth it. But at the end of the day, I'm just like a person. I try things. If it works, that's excellent. If it doesn't, of course, it's heartbreaking. But it was just something about Dan and his team. I just decided that I was going to go for it based on our conversation. And he
Absolutely.
came through for me. Yes.
Awesome. And what was it like working with us? I know obviously the process is good, but just overall, how did we answer the questions? Like, do you feel like you've actually learned about business funding and credit and all that stuff during this process? What was that like?
Learning about the business funding, I know I have. I wish I could have been a little more focused on it, and I'm still trying to learn more about how things go. But at the end of the day, with me being a busy person, and still was like he still was on the back end doing things or sending me emails or contact people. So that worked for me. And like I said his spirit was great. You know, when he said he's gonna be on a meeting, he's gonna be there. So I feel he took his business. He was professional, and I respected that from Dan. Mhm.
Awesome. And just overall, back to what you're able to do with the funding, what specific opportunities were you able to pursue with this funding? And what is it going to allow you to do now?
But this particular funding, I had to pay upfront for a project that I was getting done at my center. So you pay for the project upfront, and then once you pay for it, you get like a 80% reimbursement back. So the funding I didn't use, some people use funding to pretty much buy income properties or buy things to make the money. In this situation, that was not my case, but the goal for my next project is to find funding to be able to invest in my next project.
Excellent.
Yes.
Fantastic. And I know we were just chatting right before this call with getting some of the bonuses and the points. And I know we haven't done too much travel hacking, but how do you feel like all the bonuses and other cool little things that you get along this process? Was it useful compared to getting traditional loans and stuff like that? They don't normally come with freebies.
Well, actually, regarding to the point situation, I'm still learning how to move points over, and Dan is still working with me on how to utilize the points, especially since I like to travel. So that's going to be my next
We'll have a good
goal.
trip soon. We'll plan a
Yeah,
good trip soon. We haven't done too much yet,
yes,
but
with
we'll
all those points I have. So that's going to be interesting to see how that works. Because I hear a
awesome.
lot about it through off Instagram, and now I want to see how it would work for me working with Dan with the points.
Gotcha. And another quick point, how was the liquidation service for turning the credit into cash?
That was to me, that was great. I'm gonna say it was just my deadline, but for the most part, was fine. I'm gonna say I'm not gonna complain about it at
I'll
all.
be honest, it took a couple weeks, obviously, but
Mhm.
you always want your money quick. It showed up right on time.
Yes.
I think the company they've gotten a lot faster since
Mhm.
they're upgrading some systems. But overall, what would you say?
I would say overall it was a 10 because they still came through,
Of
right?
course,
They
yeah,
still gave me what they said they were going to give me. It was just that my time frame that I had needed it was a crunch time for me, and
yeah.
I think that's when I was like, "What's going on, Dan?" But other than that, it was great.
You got it
Right?
handled.
Yeah,
You got
they got the funding
it.
for me. Yes.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Awesome. So, what would you tell any business owners that would be potentially concerned about the complexity of our process? Like, is it very difficult to follow the steps? Like, is there anything where you felt like really stuck, or was it overall just pretty straightforward?
I think everything was pretty much straightforward in my situation. I already had good credit, so it wasn't bad for me. So like I said, Dan was very helpful. He talked to me, he walked me through things, any questions I may have. He was able to answer my questions. So I think he was great.
Awesome.
Yeah,
And
I think it's definitely worth the investment, especially working with your team because you guys people and they came through. You got the relationships with the banks, so I felt like it was great. It was a great experience for me. And like I said, I was pleasantly surprised, but still, it was great.
awesome. And where do you think your business would be if you didn't take the step and work with us?
Well, I'm gonna say with this project here that I had, it probably would have been a little tight for me trying to go around and then going around trying to figure out who was going to be able to come, was going to be able to fund me at that time. It would have just been a lot of work that I would have had to do, and then I probably wouldn't even guarantee to get as much as I got working with Dan and his company. So it would have been a little stressful, and it would take a little more work. And I don't feel like working with you. It wasn't at
Is that
all.
bad? That's
It
it.
wasn't bad
Awesome.
at all.
Love it. And for anyone hesitating to book a call and thinking about working with us, what would you say?
I would say do it. Dan, it has a great personality. He's going to work with you, and I feel he's going to come through for you. So, based on your needs, I feel his team will be able to come and give you what you need. But all I have to say, I just feel like he came through for me, and I feel like he should be able to come through for you as well. And like I said, it was great.
Awesome. You're too kind. Anything else, Nicole, before we get off?
In closing, I would say once again, Dan was a great guy to work with. He is a great guy to work with,
We're gonna
and
keep working. We're not done. We got
yeah,
a lot more to do.
and then I think things gonna get better and greater for me. And I feel like if you're skeptical about at least through the call and see if you guys are a good fit, but he definitely was a good fit for me.
Awesome. Thank you, Nicole. Such a pleasure.